This video is to show you how to first bring up your school districts layer, isolate Missouri, and then import your data as a territory. I think before you were possibly trying to import it with our plot data on map button, and instead you want the create territories button. So first thing I'm going to do is click on my add map layers, and then I'm going to click on my school districts layer and add that to the map. The next thing I'm going to do is isolate Missouri. So for that, I'm going to click on my map and data box, and there's a little icon here, and you can go ahead and clear all, and then we'll just choose Missouri and click filter. If this map and data box has disappeared on you, look to the left hand side, there's a single blue arrow. I would leave this map and data box up if you can, because that will allow you to do different things in the map. The first thing I want to show you is if you want to make those layers transparent. So what we can do is highlight a layer and click on the little settings gear, and up in the general box we can see a transparency bar. That way we can see through the data a little bit if we wanted to. It's just personal preference if you want. The next feature is to bring in your territory file. So I'm going to click on this little red puzzle piece and click next to plotting data, and I'm going to browse to the spreadsheet that you provided. We'll click next and then choose the tab that we want. In this case, we're looking at risk districts. We'll click next. From here, you'll take a look at the bottom of the screen. And one thing I did on your spreadsheet was I gave it headers. I gave it a school district header, and then a year header, and then a zip code header. And those headers are key for the program. Those headers also help it to identify which column is which. So in this case, because I have a zip code header, it's able to identify that as being the zip code. So we'll just click next. Then we'll click next to creating territories. From here, we want to check and see what our territory name column is. We have three choices because we have three columns in our spreadsheet. In this case, we'll just choose school district. We want to create territories, but we don't want to do it by zip codes. Instead, we want to do it by schools. So we'll click create territories, and it'll just show those territories in the map. Now, it's very important to understand that with a state as big as Missouri, with school districts being so small, that it's going to be a hard time to get a whole statewide map. That's not just our application, that's just digital mapping in general, because when you zoom out, things get smushed, and when you take something that's small and make it smaller, then it's going to make it harder to see. What you can do is take a series of images if you want to. So in the top right hand corner, we have our zoom tools, and the one I like to use is this magnifying tool. When it's enabled, when you click on it, there's a little red X that appears. And then what I can do is move my mouse cursor to the top left and drag it to the lower right. And that'll help to zoom in on an area. And I can repeat this process if I want. I can also click on this little magnifying glass to remove the red X. And so I'm not zooming in anymore. I can also make those territories transparent if I'd like as well. I can click on this little settings gear, pull up manage map and data again. And this time, I can make the territories a little bit more see-through if I wanted to, or I can just leave them as opaque. I can also play around with labeling. So if I can click on that, then I can change the background color of those labels if I want. I could change it to a white. If I want to take an image of this area, I will do so at the top with this tool that looks like a printer. With that, I can save my image as a PDF. I can either choose to save my current map view as a PDF, or I could do an area defined by a rectangle. If I do an area defined by a rectangle, I'm going to be drawing a rectangle on the map, and then it'll just be saving that image around the rectangle. So to do that, I click next, click draw area map, and you'll see that I have that tool enabled at the top here. Same idea as zooming in. I'm going to start in the top left hand corner, drag it to the lower right, and now I have that box waiting for me. I can then click on my printer again and click next, and I can choose to save this image as a predefined paper size. I could also do a custom paper size as well. If I just want to show these territories on the map, I can do so. I'm going to just zoom out and then zoom back in a little bit here. If I want to omit those other areas, I can just go over to my manage map and my map and data box here on the left hand side and uncheck my schools, and that will just leave those territories on the map for me. I could also go up here and click on the states layer if I want to see a state of Missouri, and if I want to, I can make it transparent, by clicking on this General tab, play with the transparency. I can also change the borders. So if I wanted a black border around Missouri, I could do so. And then finally, if I wanted to turn off the street data and just be left with my territories, I can uncheck this streets box. And that'll leave me just with a simple map of Missouri showing those territories. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks and have a great day.